I do plan on showing decks that do not play Bonfire and are not fire decks, but to begin with, I wanted to show my competitive Snake Eye deck. This deck does play 3 Bonfire, so it is far from budget. I just wanted to let you know that I do plan on profiling non-fire decks. I went to an event called Beachhead last weekend, which was a TCG and tabletop convention event thing. And although it was mostly for Warhammer, they had some small tournaments for card games too. There was a One Piece tournament on Saturday and a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament on Sunday. I won both events, and this is the pure Snake Eye deck that I won both the Beachhead event and the locals on the Friday with. I began the format playing pure Snake Eye over Fire King Snake Eye because I find it more fun than the Fire King builds, and also find that it plays into draw a lot better than the Fire King build. I haven't done deck profiles for locals since literally 8 years ago, but if this is something that you would like to see more of, then consider pressing the big red button. I do plan to profile decks which are not fire stuff as well, including Kashtira and some fun decks. But with no further ado, enjoy! On to the main deck. We have 2 Flamberge. This is our boss monster. He's very big, very scary, and he's very cool. Since this is pure Snake Eye, we do have to play 2 of this, but it's not always too bad drawing it. Then we have 3 Snake Eye Ash and 2 Poplar. This card's very good. It's not always amazing to draw though, so I don't like playing 3. And then for our other level 1 fires, we have the Oak to reborn stuff, Birch for a extender to grab off Bonfire, and Jet Synchron. This is what enables all of our Synchro plays, and even when it gets banished via its own effect, we can bring it back from banished with the effect of Oak. For a utility option, I play 1 copy of Kurikara. I know that a lot of builds choose not to play this, but I think it's very good to have the option to search this with both Ash and Original. And it's nice to have an out to both the Pearly Xyz and the Raid Wraps rank 13. The effect in the end phase to take stuff like Fleur, Fenrir, IP and SP can also be very useful. And then moving along, I play the 2 Witch and 3 Wanted Poster. Normally in Pure it's more common to play 3, but so far I'm not a massive fan of 3. And there's 2 reasons for this, one of which is that I can only set Wanted and Original from it. And when I only have 2 targets, I'm not a big fan of upping the count of a Witch, as I'm not that sold on the other normal spell or the trap just yet, because I want to minimise on cards which are not that great value to draw. However, if I were to cut for Kurikara, then I would try either that normal spell or the trap with the new quick play spell. And the other reason why I play only 2 is because I wanted to make space to play Fenrir. Unlike in the OCG, we have 3 Fenrir, and I think Fenrir is pretty good in this deck. It pairs very well with hand traps, it makes Jet Synchron discards easy, it makes Witch discards easy, it's also level 7 to make Savage with. There's also games where you get hand trapped really hard, and passing on Fenrir plus your own hand traps can sometimes be good enough, because then on your follow-up you can push back into their board. And then we have the Snake Eye Field spell. This card's very good. It's our other search target for Poplar. It's not a bad card to draw, but not good enough to play more than 1. And then 3 Bonfire, which is unfortunately not a cheap card. And then for the tech spots, I play 12 hand traps with Ash, Veiler, Droll, and Imperm. I believe it's more common to play about 14 to 15 hand traps in pure Snake Eye, but I choose to play 12 and put the remaining 3 spots towards 2 talents and a cool buy. I like these cards a lot because you do get some weaker hands which do fold to hand traps sometimes, and in those scenarios these cards go really hard, and I don't think Cool Buyer is that bad going second right now because it hits stuff like Kirin and the Big Chicken. And that's the main deck, which is of course 40 cards. There's no reason to go over 40 in this because there's no cards that we are desperately trying to avoid drawing. And then on to the extra deck, the almighty Formless Synchron, Savage, and Fleur. So with your combo that you have Ash and Witch with, you normally go into Savage with Jet Synchron and Witch. After you put the Formula to the spell trap card zone, in their turn you summon out the Formula Synchron from the spell trap zone with Flamberge effects, and use Formula and Flamberge to make Fleur. These cards are very nice, and it's what makes the end boards of this deck so strong. And we have the Link Rebo and Animar, two pretty important link ones to make, especially because I side deck the Nibiru. It will not gain the attack points of a token, but it's still good to be able to out the token for free. And I play Heater and Dark, the two Charmers, which are both very good, especially because I play Selene and Access Codes. I believe it's more common to play the Salamangreat and Zelantis here. At least in the early phases of testing so far, I currently prefer these because you need an extra fire monster on board with Zelantis. And unlike in the Viking build, you rarely get much value from destroying that fire monster with the Zelantis. And unlike in the Viking build, there isn't much value you get from destroying that fire monster in the Zelantis combo with the effect of Promethean. I only play one princess because of space, but 2 doesn't really come up too much. Then I play the Sunlight Wolf, this lets us add back stuff through discard with Jet Synchron in the Ash plus Witch combo, and being able to add back Ash Blossom is pretty good too. You could also opt to play Heat Soul because these two can make it if you can find space. Then I play Ambler Whale, this is what we climb the Promethean into because we're fire locked, and when Ambler Whale is popped by the effects of Promethean, it can bring back the Sunlight Wolf from a graveyard. And then for the last 3 spots in the extra deck, we have the IP, and the SP, and then Appaloosa. The Appaloosa you often make with IP when you often synchro off the Flamberge into Fleur, because then you get a bunch of bodies from the effect of Flamberge to link off into either a 3 or even 4 material Appaloosa. Onto the side deck we play 1 copy of Fight Ninja, MVP, 3 copies of Nibiru. I choose to side this and not main deck this. The reason being is that at the local and OTS level of events, there isn't that many fire decks around, so with the exception of decks like Kashtira and other new combo decks like Raid Raptor, I don't think Nibiru is that great to main deck, but instead side deck if you face one of those decks or somebody else playing a fire deck. And then I play Freebell for Labyrinth, and I choose to side the 2nd and 3rd copies of Kurikara. I don't think the main draw point of Kurikara is just that it's searchable, but also that it gets a 1100 attack point boost from the Snake Eye Field spell. The card is good against quite a variety of matchups, and it also gives you a play to make if you get hit by something like Different Dimension Ground or Shifter. And then for more back row hate, I play 2 Storm and Duster. I may also consider playing Cosmic somewhere in here, given that Runic Stun just won a regional. And then the last 4 cards in the side deck are what I put in going first, which is 1 Talents and 3 Solemn Strike. Strike is quite good to hit Snake Eye Ash, but it's also quite good generally as well. I don't think you need Judgment or Iron Thunder unless Dark Ruler becomes more popular, because your end board has Floor and Savage, which are effectively Solemn Judgments on legs. And the idea with these is that going first, I normally take out the 1 Kurikara, and then something like 3 Imperm to put in these 4. And yeah, that is the deck profile. If you want to see a combo tutorial on how to play this deck, and what other kind of decks you want to see on the channel, then do let me know by putting a comment down below. Thank you all for watching, have a perfectly balanced rest of your day, and yeah, adios.